Yeah. I use junk players. I use the term junk players in the NBA more because sometimes, and my man put it this. Shout out to my man Low 800 Club credit. Hit him up low.got.u on Instagram and the 800 Club. Get your credit right. Got my credit right. Changed my life, man. I use the term junk players because, like my man Low used to say, some guys get lost in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They don't quite live up to expectation, and for whatever reason, they never quite either. They don't get the opportunity to showcase all of their talent, or they never quite recover from an injury and they get lost in the league. Like DeMarcus Cousins, he's NBA junk right now, and I hate. There's going to be people like, oh, how can you call a guy junk? Listen, we're not a major corporation, so I'm allowed to say it without starting a fire. He's NBA junk. If you need a warm body that can come off the bench and not cost you, soak up fouls, and give you just expend some minutes, that's who he is. He's Chris Dudley when Shaq dunked on him. He's a junk player.
I mean, I'm glad you're defining what a junk player is to everybody out there, because when you post on Facebook that this person or that person is a junk player, a lot of people don't know where you're coming from with that. So
it's NBA junk.
Shine some light on it.
It's NBA junk. Like it's like a guy is just a contract at this point. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know if guys come out of being junk players, but like when Otto Porter got that deal, he became NBA junk. Because no matter where he goes, it wasn't going to be a good situation because he was just unaffordable for his output. So he becomes NBA junk. And I even called John Wall NBA junk. Mm-hmm. He's not the same player. He's never healthy. He's $40 million, and he's still not even halfway through a supermax deal.
You call him junk and a junk contract.
It's a junk contract, and he's a junk player. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. It's a contract. He's just somebody to move. That is it. And there's guys like that in the NBA because of the rules of having to match contracts.
Right.
There's no junk players in the NFL because you can trade whatever you want. And most of the time you can cut a guy and just save the money.
Yeah, because
there's no guaranteed contracts, like a fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah, them NFL contracts, they're not worth the paper that they printed on.
No.
So like you could easily just move players in the NFL.
Exactly. So that was my whole thing with like junk players, guys getting lost in the league. And they just kind of float around. Kyle Kuzma is on the verge of becoming a junk player because he'll never be able to wash off the stench or the stain of his decline in LA. Meanwhile, everybody else that was playing around him that got traded away is elevating.
Mm-hmm.
Julius Randle, elevating. Mm-hmm. Brandon Ingram, elevating.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Hart, elevating.
Lonzo Ball
is about to be $100 million point guard, like I always told people, because if you've never played basketball, you wouldn't value Lonzo Ball just by watching him if you didn't understand the game. Mm-hmm. You don't understand what it takes for somebody to read the entire floor, to run the break, to distribute the ball, and he got his shot together now. And he plays defense.
Worked on that shot.
Yeah, he plays defense. Lonzo Ball is everything that Michael Carter-Williams was supposed to be. A big point guard, long arms, active at both ends, and he's a floor general. Mm-hmm. I like Lonzo Ball. I think he's I don't know if he's upper tier, but he's in that top like quarter of the point guards in the league. He's in the bottom of the top tier.
Yeah,
because any team would love to have him right now that doesn't have a megastar, and there's not many megastars out there. So that's my thing about junk players. Pick and Roll Podcast, episode 19 is Chris. I'm here with Super Dave.
Yo.
Super League wrapping up this week, man. Shout out to the Super League in South Jersey.
Yeah, man.
Looks like the town is going to repeat again, man. Shout out to Trenton, man. Y'all got the best team running around here in these men's leagues right now.
Yeah.
Y'all play together. Y'all play the game the right way, and you do what you're supposed to do.
Yo, I think when we played Trenton Sunday, I think that might have been the best game they played all year.
Listen,
especially defensive wise.
But that's what I noticed about them. They turn up a notch against better teams. They get it together because they have chemistry, and they've been rocking together.
Yeah, and I spoke to one of the players, and he was like the way they played on defense. He was like, because we were a threat.
Yeah,
and it was like, they was like, we knew we had to turn it up because we were when we were moving the ball around the perimeter, every time we drove, kicked, swung, made the extra pass, swung it again, they rotation was on point. They was everywhere.
Listen, and they got guys that play their role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's my man name? Ball head, hustle man. Baz. Yo, I love his game.
Yeah.
I hate when he's playing against us because he gets in our players' heads.
Everybody.
Yeah. Like he's like Draymond on steroids. And it doesn't affect me because I know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. I do the same thing when the situation calls for it. But he does it. And as much as people say, like, oh, you know, he ain't that good or whatever. Well, he's getting those boards. He's getting those loose balls. And he's where he's supposed to be at all times. At all times. That's what's important. And that's why I say, like, being a good basketball player and being a talented ball player are two totally different things. You can be a talented loser. And there's a lot of talented losers just in sports in general. There's a lot of guys who'd rather play the game for themselves rather than for the win. Mm-hmm. And you see that a lot in basketball. Speaking of that, Team USA, man, lost again to France. Now, I didn't watch the game, but I saw the highlights.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even see the highlights.
They went scoreless for about 5 minutes coming down the stretch. So they went into the last, I want to say 5 minutes when I was reading the article to go along with it, like the highlights. They couldn't hit a shot. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't manufacture a bucket, I should say. They were reduced to jump shooting, and they couldn't put the team away. They couldn't put France away. Meanwhile, Evan Fournier went crazy. He was like Oscar Schmidt. He was just running through everybody, and it was like ultimate Olympic performance. And I wasn't feeling the quote that Dame Lillard said, like, oh, these guys are totally different when they plan for their country. I don't understand, like, what he meant by that, you know, because he's still the same basketball player. You're just playing a different style of game that's not quite suited to the show business style of ball the NBA has.
I think he meant that as far as, like, when they come over to the NBA,
yeah,
they're not the star.
Yeah,
when they're just a body when they over here.
Mm-hmm.
When they're playing for their country, they have to be that guy.
I think he was referring to Evan Fournier, and I don't think that's right.
But look at France.
Yeah,
Evan Fournier can get his own shot.
Right.
Batum can't.
Not at all. But he still finds buckets in the NBA.
Right. But on France's team, Evan Fournier is the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's where he meant, like, when he's in the league with Orlando or now he's with Boston, like, he's not the guy. So in Boston with Tatum and Brown, he's just there. Okay, so to me, it came off as almost like a little slight. Like, oh, yeah, you know, they ain't the same guys when they step on the NBA court, you know. Right. So like almost like Olympic ball is a lesser version, which I think it's superior in many ways. Yeah. But I just think let's say it was like a backhanded compliment. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Evan Fournier is the guy for France. Like, Rudy Gobert has the bigger name, but he can't do anything without the guards giving him the ball. You know what I mean? Batum is not who he was when he was in Charlotte. No, he's not old. He's not that guy anymore. He's definitely old. What's the guy that plays for the Nets? That he played for the Sixers? Timothy Cabarrot. Oh, Luau Cabarrot. Yeah, he's just a guy. He is, whether he's in France or in the NBA. So Evan Fournier has to be that person for them. Okay, you know what I mean? So when they said he had 28, I wasn't surprised because now you're going to get the shots that you normally should get in the NBA for your country. Yeah, like, now you're not going to get them shots in the NBA. Oh yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Unless Tatum is hurt, Brown is hurt, then it's like the ball's in your hands. But just like the discussion we had over the weekend, I think I've seen Evan Fournier knock down a lot of these shots in the NBA constantly. He just had, like you said, limited touches. The team is not built around him. I felt like what JJ Redick does, Evan Fournier could do even better because he's younger and give you a little something on defense. Yeah, Evan Fournier, he was putting up numbers in Orlando because he probably was like the only wing player that could really put the ball in the basket.
From the perimeter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I wasn't surprised.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
but when you see him, there's a refinement and a polish to his game, especially when he's catching and shooting. There's a polish to his game that a lot of NBA players don't have. So whether it was a backhanded compliment or not, I hope it wasn't a backhanded compliment, because there's still no excuse for you to lose that game to him, Damian Lillard, in that fashion. You guys have too much talent on the floor. But I think that the individualism and the isolation nature of the American basketball culture is dooming this team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jrue Holiday was there his first game and ended up being one of the most impactful players in that first game.
Yeah.
Because he's probably more suited to play international basketball and play his position more purely than these other guys.
And he's bringing a dynamic to the team that nobody else is willing to do. He's going to play defense.
Play defense, yes. And distribute. Handle the rock, distribute, play defense, all that good stuff.
But I wasn't like I wasn't expecting him, Middleton, or Booker to play much the first game because they just went through a finals.
Yeah.
So I expect them to like ramp it up going when it's time to play tomorrow. Ramp it up tomorrow and then for the rest of the tournament.
Because if they lose tomorrow, there's no medal round.
No,
you know, they won't go into the tournament.
No. And now it becomes style points. They play Iran. They need to run the score up.
They need to win by 70 tomorrow.
Yes, they need to run the score up.
Yes, they need to run the score up on Iran. And I mean, I think they're gonna win.
Yeah.
Iran really doesn't have the basketball talent, but I just think that this is hit the level of embarrassment. And I think a lot of these NBA players need to look in the mirror and say, a lot of these guys on this team, and just the NBA players in general, and say, how good are you really? This is an opportunity to get better. I felt like in previous Olympics, Carmelo took the opportunity that allowed the Olympics to make him better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's one of the guys. Andre Iguodala really elevated his game by playing in the Olympics. He and Carmelo, quiet as kept with the engine of those Olympic teams that they had going.
Yo, Carmelo is gonna go to the Hall of Fame off of
the Olympics.
Off the Olympics.
Yeah,
he could go to the Olympics. He could go to the Hall of Fame off his Olympic play alone. Not even his NBA career. He could go to the Hall of Fame.
He probably should be on this team. And I've been one to criticize Carmelo about wanting to be a starter in the NBA and stuff, but I think this suits him more. He's a half-court player. He's not a transition player. And this is a half-court game. And you're starting to see how even, in my opinion, even some of the NBA's biggest superstars, the guys you expect to know everything and do everything, they're struggling playing half-court basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for me to watch because where's the play? Where's the half-court set? Can Popovich even teach you guys a half-court set?
It just seemed like Popovich is overcoaching these guys.
I don't know. They're losing. They're going out there and losing these games.
Yeah, no, right. But it just seemed like he's just overcoaching them. He like with talent that you have on this team, like you should just be like, here's 1 or 2 sets. Just go out there.
Yeah.
You know I mean, he's coaching this team like he has Duncan, Manu, and Tony. Like you don't have that. You don't.
You're absolutely right.
You know what I mean? So
and I still think Draymond Green is almost a useless player.
I don't even know why he's on the team.
I don't know why he made it. Like he's a name. I was like, you don't really fit. You can be unskilled in a transition style basketball game, but you can't be unskilled in the half court. You just can't unless you're extremely large. George Murison could be unskilled because he was 7'7". You know, it just, I don't know. It's wild to me. I look at him and I just see a guy who runs to a spot, then turns around and fires the ball back out to the perimeter. It's the way they're trying to use him. It looks disjointed and uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
And if they get knocked out, this will probably be the worst failure ever. And these guys got to take a look at themselves, man. And I figured I would see some more basketball acumen out of KD. I'm not seeing it. It's looking like he's just a scorer.
It's kind of hard with this team, like because it's like him and Lillard are the only ones that could really get even in the exhibitions.
Yeah,
him and Lillard were like the only two that's like, all right, we can score. Like, we need y'all to do something. So, I mean, that's why, like, players like Zach LaVine, he got it. Like, you're on a stage where you got it. Like, the world is watching. You have to show your skill set, your talent, especially with Bradley Beal not being here. Like, you need to show. And you never with Bradley. I mean, with LaVine, you never played in the playoffs. So
Never.
So you have to treat this like the playoffs.
Yeah.
So the world is watching. So you need to step up and show the Bulls or another team that you deserve max money.
You got treated like college. One and done, baby.
Yeah.
One and done. That's it. Every game counts now. They have 5 losses out of their last 9 games. Terrible. USA basketball men's.
Terrible.
It's unbearable to watch at this point. It just looks uncomfortable. They don't look comfortable. Everybody just doesn't. They're looking for leadership on that team, and I'm hoping that they find it. And the guys, the players, some of the players need to dial back the way they play and become something else. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe, a couple of these guys can focus a little more on defense. Maybe you see Devin Booker really step up and guard or something. Somebody's got to do something else other than fire the ball at the basket.
I do expect them to get out of pool play.
Yeah.
Because they got Iran next and then the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
So I expect them to win those 2 games, but then in the knockout stages, that's when it's going to get real.
Yeah.
Because you might go against Spain.
Spain right out the gate.
Australia.
Argentina.
Argentina's not the same anymore.
Oh, so they're not the same?
No.
Okay.
Slovenia with Luka.
Luka just dropped 48. Yeah, man. Yeah. And Luka comes, and that's another thing. They underestimate these foreign players, but a lot of these guys play against these international style ball games as teenagers. Like, it's one of these things where a lot of people, they get surprised when a guy like Furkan Korkmaz hits big shots. Right. Or he seems to be in the moment when the game is on the line. I'm like, he's been playing pro ball since he was 16. That's something we're not doing here. He's been playing against grown men. These moments aren't too big for him.
Some of them, they out there at 14.
Yeah. Some of them are. Yeah, they are out there. And that's one thing, like, people underestimate these guys. And this is the style of ball they play all the time.
Yes.
The NBA is the adjustment they have to make.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're dead nice over here and then they come over here and they're nice for real.
Yeah.
And that's why, going back to Damian Lillard's comment, it doesn't matter who they are. You've played against this guy before. I don't care if you played him on Mars. You got to compete.
Yeah.
And you got to figure it out. Take away something that he does. Hey, how about this? The 5 guys on the court, learn to take away something that they're doing well. Start from there. Let's just get back to the basics. Then you work your way up to more complex basketball. But they just can't seem to defend. This team doesn't have defenders. No, it's a lot of offensive guys.
They got 2 defenders, 3 defenders on the team.
JaVale McGee, Jrue Holiday.
I was going 4 if you want to add JaVale. I was going Middleton.
Yeah.
Draymond.
Yeah.
He's a defender.
He is a defender. He's a scrapper, man.
Yeah. Jrue and JaVale.
Defender is a crazy term to call because never mind. I'm not gonna get on my Draymond Green disrespect today. We're gonna have a good podcast, man. But Team USA really needs to step it up, man. I'm not trying to even watch them tomorrow if they're gonna go out there and mail it in again.
Yeah,
the effort is low.
That's terrible.
Yeah, the effort is low. And it's the mental effort, I think. That's what's low. NBA Finals wrapped up. We have a new champion in NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks. Small market city, one NBA flagship franchise. Your thoughts on the game 6? Giannis's 50-point and double-double, 17 for 19 from the free throw line.
5 blocks.
Was this the greatest closeout game you've ever seen?
Individual-wise?
Individually, yes.
Yeah.
It was the most dominant.
Yeah.
Because we sat and watched the game. Jrue Holiday was not playing well.
No.
Very poor shot selection. I think the nerves were getting to the rest of the team.
That it was a closeout game.
And I also saw that Chris Middleton really couldn't find a groove until late fourth quarter. I remember sitting there watching that thinking like, man, these guys are really struggling. And Phoenix, they folded under the pressure because as Milwaukee was playing bad, they weren't playing better. They didn't notice it, and they couldn't capitalize because the moment was also too big for them, which was one of my original concerns.
Yeah, you was saying that from the start of the playoffs.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to do it. They without going up against an injured, wounded team, a team against full strength, they weren't going to be able to stand up to the pressure because the mic fell. So yeah, because just the experience wasn't there. DeAndre Ayton full disappearing act at the end of that series, and I think that's more of an indication of who he is as a player as a whole. I don't think this is a situation where he's just a good player that's having bad games. I think we're starting to see he's more of an average NBA player because what he does can be taken away very easily. And that's how I feel about DeAndre Ayton. I'm not going to call him NBA junk because it's still early in his career. And in the right situation, he could be a little more useful. But I don't think he's fleet of foot enough to be a Clint Capella and things like that.
No.
I don't think he's quick enough to get up and down the court and be that active. If for him, he's going to have to learn to be more physical and put his body on the line, which I don't know if he has enough of it.
He got to get stronger.
You got to get stronger.
You got to work out and get stronger.
Yeah, he got to put the muscles on.
Yeah.
He got to put the muscles on, man.
He need to come into next season with at least like 15 to 20 pounds of muscle.
But I also need to see more tenacity. Yeah. I need to see you boxing guys out with your hips and moving through it, like really clearing out that pain and playing above the rim.
But is that on the guys not wanting to do it, or it's not even in their makeup?
I don't even think it's in his makeup.
I'm not just Ayton, just like big guys in the league now, like because you really don't see big guys going down there and bumping bodies,
deciding to mix it up.
Right. Everybody wants to stand behind a 3-point line and shoot.
Yeah, linger on the perimeter.
Like you don't even get big guys like fighting for a rebound outside of the area. Like
right.
If somebody's already in position for a rebound, they just like, all right, let it go and then go back on defense. Nobody wants to go down there and then try to like knock him out the way to get the ball or like try to do the Rodman and tip it away.
Yeah, there's very few DeAndre Drummond.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like Ayton should probably become more DeAndre Drummond. He has more offensive like potential and skill than Andre Drummond, but he needs to look at that aspect and say, hey, look, when I'm down here, these long arms, this long slender frame that I have, let me put some muscle on it and learn how to. I'm gonna have to come out here and go to war for Devin Booker because someone has to, for Phoenix to be good. Chris Paul's not gonna be there. I don't think he's gonna be there this offseason, right? Or next season. Someone's going to have to exert physical dominance on Phoenix for them to continue to compete and to be a contender or to just even be good, to even make the playoffs because they don't have physicality at any position. And then your big can't be your least physical guy. He can't show up and not even give Giannis body-to-body resistance.
Right.
There's no... I don't know. I mean, we'll find out if it's in his makeup to impose his will down there around the basket and in the paint. But I think it remains to be seen what type of player he's going to be. But I think the ceiling has been a lot lower from watching him this series.
I just like, as far as like going back to Giannis and the Bucks.
Yeah,
I just think Giannis showed and played how a superstar is supposed to play in a closeout game.
Exactly.
My teammates are not with me right now. So I have to put this team on my back. I have to set the tone until y'all get y'all act together. And then, you know what I mean, Drew hit a couple shots late. Middleton start coming around late. But I mean, by that time, Giannis had already did the heavy lifting, and then they just put the icing on the cake.
Well, and that's the thing too. We both know basketball is about confidence. And this is when I say Giannis knows it's his league and his era, despite what you say about him. That was all confidence. He knew this is my game to take over, and he went after it. And then just the focus to hit the 17 for 19 free throws. That was uncanny. That was zero, lasered in, focused. That was like he zeroed in on his goal, his target. He dominated.
Yeah, he knew hitting 17 out of 19 free throws. He knew the goal that was at hand.
Yeah.
He knew the task, and he was like, I'm not letting nobody stop this because I don't know what a game 7 is going to hold for me on the road.
Yeah.
So we're going to take care of business right now.
Took care of it. What do you think about his post-game comments? I could have gone to a super team and just did my part, but I wanted to stay here and make it happen.
Old school.
Yeah. Definitely old school. And I think us old school basketball fans appreciate it.
Yeah.
Of course, it stirred up a lot of, oh, man, how you going to take a shot at LeBron? That's hate, this, that, and third. But he's got a point, and he's not on a super team.
No.
I've even seen people the writers and sports guys say, oh, Giannis is on a super team because he has a closer. First of all, Giannis was the closer on his team. He was the everything in the closeout game. So, yes, he was the closer. Middleton had games where he closed it out, but I think you saw when it's time to win the championship, Giannis is the closer. He closed it in spectacular, godlike fashion out there on the court.
Yeah. Giannis is Milwaukee's no super team.
No.
Small market.
And they were built properly.
Yeah.
They got the free agents that they were able to get. They made moves at the trade deadline. They didn't rest. They said, look, we might go on a luxury tax, but this is what happens. This is what small market teams got to do. We're going to have to continue to make moves and be aggressive, not at the very top, but we're going to have to find players to play around our stars.
Yeah, and then what they did at the deadline, getting PJ, it was like,
not to mention Jrue Holiday.
No, they didn't get, they got Jrue Holiday in a trade.
Yeah.
Off season.
Yeah.
But with adding PJ at the deadline, they looked at it like, we don't need scoring because we have that. We just need another person that can play defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So adding PJ was perfect because PJ doesn't need the ball, doesn't want the ball.
Yeah.
He's perfectly fine getting 1 to 2 shots a game and just playing defense. And then that's what helped.
Well, and having the foresight to see that what Bobby Portis has to offer. Hey, here's this guy, Bobby Portis, been in the league. He's got a lot of skills. People are out on him. Bobby Portis played a lot of critical minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sixers fans, once again, wanted to talk to me about Ben Simmons this, Ben Simmons that. I said, outside of Simmons and Embiid, look up and down that roster. Where is there a Pat Connaughton there? Is there a Jrue Holiday there? Is there a Bobby Portis there? There's a couple Brent Forbes, but there's not even a Brook Lopez there. Mm-hmm. That's what it takes to win a championship is supporting cast, which is why I think teams need to stop saying like, hey, let's go get a third superstar and focus on building your team around the 1 or 2 guys that you have. Yeah. Learn how to accentuate what they can do and learn how to take as much pressure on carrying the team off of the stars you do have as possible.
And like I respect Giannis for saying what he said. You know what I mean? Because there was rumors that he was going to Golden State, he was going to the Lakers, he was going here, he was going there. I'm glad he stayed, signed the Supermax, and brought the championship to Milwaukee. Like, with this era, people are quick to, I've been here for X amount of years and I lost. It's time to go. I need to go somewhere else and win. Like, nah, like put your big boy pants on. You know what I mean? Let guys come to you.
Yeah.
Win it where you're at.
You got to get up that mountain, man. Well, so what was it? How many years did they lose out? So I hate the fact that they lost in the bubble because he also took a shot at the bubble too. He said what I've been saying about the bubble. A lot of guys didn't want to be there. We just wanted to go home. That's why we lost in the bubble, and we all understood it.
Yeah,
Miami, that was the bubble was fraudulent. LeBron's last ring has an asterisk by it because no one else really cared to play except the 2 teams that were in the finals, right? But I liked his comments while he was sitting up at that podium about the bubble and how he knew that he needed to make up for this year, and he was going to show people that this year was really their year. And there's nothing you can take away from them because Giannis also was hurt.
Yeah,
that's another thing for people that want to criticize Giannis and say he's not the top player in the NBA right now. Remember, this man hyperextended his left knee, came out there and dominated immediately after and in the finals. Mm-hmm. Hyperextended his left knee. We saw that knee go the other way.
Yes,
we saw it.
I've had that injury a few times.
Yes, same here. It's not easy. But that's he's a different level of athlete, different level of competitor than we're used to seeing from today's NBA stars. Mm-hmm. And that's why it was refreshing to see it. I really hope the Sixers get that opportunity. And speaking of more NBA news, Ben Simmons, all kind of reports are coming out with the trades. Have you been watching any of these trades? Because this seems to be the blockbuster trade that everybody's waiting on. The Lillard thing has kind of died out and stalled out because Lillard said, he didn't request a trade. But now you have Bradley Beal requesting a trade, and that's linking to Simmons. You have all kind of stuff starting to happen. There was also a trade between the Raptors and Grizzlies. They swapped picks, couple players. It's basically Jonas Valanciunas.
That was
the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies and Pelicans.
Grizzlies and Pelicans. My bad. So it was Grizzlies and Pelicans. It was Valanciunas and Steven Adams.
Mm-hmm.
I love that Steven Adams pickup for the Grizzlies, by the way, before we go back to that.
Yeah. I definitely like that.
Yeah, because they're
bringing in a tough guy.
I feel like they're rebuilding what they had with Conley and what's his face, Marc Gasol, and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they have a real hard-nosed team, and I really love what they got going there, and I think it fits just the culture they started in Memphis. That's the kind of team that city's going to get behind and support if they're going to hope to keep a team in Memphis. Yeah. So that was an interesting trade, but now I'm starting to see all these trade rumors. And do you see any major blockbuster moves, even with Ben Simmons, happening prior to the NBA draft Thursday?
I think so. I'm keeping my eyes out for Bradley Beal.
Okay.
I got a feeling probably might end up in Golden State.
Bradley Beal with the Warriors.
I got a feeling
that would be amazing, scoring wise,
because the Warriors have 2 lottery picks.
Yes,
that they could just dangle to someone, and I know someone in the NBA is gonna say, "Oh, 2 first rounders, cool."
Well, they also have players to go along with that, so they can match those salaries.
Or they could say, "We'll give you one of these first rounders in a player."
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure someone's gonna say, "Ooh, the first round pick."
Well, for the way the Warriors are constructed, I could potentially see those 2 lottery picks and James Wiseman and Andrew Wiggins going somewhere to meet the salary of a star player.
Yeah,
Bradley Beal's no mega star, but he has mega star scoring in his arsenal. Not much on the defensive end. He's slightly below average defensively.
Yeah. And with the Sixers, I wouldn't be surprised if Ben stay.
I think he's gonna stay. The longer it takes to find a trade, the more I think he's gonna stay. I saw somewhere there was a report that the Sixers requested Lowry, Siakam, and I want to say Van Fleet and picks, like maybe 2 picks for Ben Simmons and maybe a pick or something, and the Raptors turned it down. But I think that's not a good trade for Philly. I just feel like at this point, trading Ben Simmons for non-stars and guys that you're hoping are going to be better than what they are now is not the right move.
I think Siakam will work I think he'll work well in Golden State as well.
And you could get Siakam just for one of those picks, probably the higher pick.
You probably get Siakam for Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, back and forth, man, back and forth. So that's where I'm wondering. A lot of these trades are bad. I have Sixers fans coming to me and all kind of other basketball fans coming to me. Oh, you guys should get Colin Sexton. You guys should get De'Aaron Fox. All these players, but
I told you numerous times I like De'Aaron Fox.
But listen, man, he has yet to show me that he's an impact player on a franchise. He's not even the best player on a losing team.
That's false.
Buddy Hield is the best player out there. Probably Harrison Barnes is the most well-rounded player.
Absolutely not.
Buddy Hield is the best player on the Kings.
De'Aaron Fox is the best player on Sacramento.
Buddy Hield is the best player on the Kings. We can argue about that all day. Listen, if you're watching the show, J Dash, shout out to you. I want Tobias gone more than anyone. Thank you. I am working on that personally. I keep calling the Sixers number for their business office, and they keep hanging up on me. But I want Tobias traded.
Hey, Sixers, man, we'll give you
for role players. We need to break Tobias up into parts.
Chicago will give you guys a couple deep dish Chicago style pizzas for Tobias Harris.
For Tobias Harris, yeah, $35 million deep dish pizzas. That's what it's going to cost. $35 million this year for 2 pizzas.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with it.
I'll take it. Just get that contract out of there so we can make some real moves. But I don't know. Ben Simmons, with him and Embiid, the facts are that just those 2 guys alone are good enough to get you to the second round into a game 7 of a conference final. Just those 2 guys alone. It's about building a team around them. And it goes back to what I'm saying about the Bucks. You got to just surround them with shooters. Let Embiid control the paint, Jokic style, Gobert style, whatever. Let that be his thing. But if you put 3 other real shooters on that court, 3 and D guys, it's gonna be very hard to compete with the Sixers, and Ben is gonna have his lanes to do what he needs to do. But I think that's the most important thing. I don't know if the public perception and him making that pass in front of everybody is going to outweigh smart basketball decisions, because I just think it's such a mess right now. It's the PR behind it.
Yeah.
And the city is not behind him at all.
Absolutely not. Like he's getting killed every angle.
Yeah.
Like I've been saying, like the Sixer fans and like basketball fans in general, they're getting on him because he doesn't shoot the 3.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have to develop the 3. If he could just develop a consistent mid-range jump, like one pull-up jump shot from the free throw line, like what Russell Westbrook,
yeah,
Ben would be so effective because he can get to the basket. So now if you develop that one pull-up, when you put your head down, people are gonna go, he's getting to the basket. And then if you just stop on a dime and then raise up, if you can hit that consistently, you're gonna be unstoppable.
Honestly, the floater. If he would just have a floater from like 10 feet out, 12 feet out, Trae Young shows you. If you have a floater, we can run the pick and roll. That's all we need is just a floater. Put the ball up around the rim. You have Embiid to crash the boards. You have other hustle players. You know, Tobias is not crashing any boards, but you have like Thibault. You got guys that can hustle. Get hustle players. Jeff Green, possibly a free agent. That's the kind of guy you need. You need somebody. I don't need the ball in my hand. I'm here to play winning basketball. I would love to see PJ Tucker in Philly. That's the kind of player we need. I want somebody to commit a foul on every possession, whether they whistle it or not.
Right.
Kick a guy in the ankle, tap his elbow. Do what you got to do. We need somebody to be selfless and who's willing to go that extra mile.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think this draft is. I don't think this draft has a lot of top end talent. I don't even think our draft pick matters. We need to get veterans in here now around these guys. But as far as the draft is concerned, how many guys do you think can actually make a difference? Because I've heard people are offering the Pistons wild compensation and they're turning it down because they really want Cade Cunningham, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's really that much of a difference maker?
Mm-hmm.
He's that thorough?
Yeah.
So you think he's going to go there and take the number 1 spot from Jeremy Grant in Detroit?
Yes.
I still find it funny that Jeremy Grant.
It shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah. I find it wild that he's the franchise player there.
But Cade Cunningham is that typical. He's a Luka
type player,
but more athletic.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He could shoot the 3, he could pass, he could get to the basket, but he plays defense.
And he's long.
Yes.
I have seen his highlights. Is there any other player that if they went somewhere other than Cade that you would say, all right, I could understand that?
Let me pull him up. He skipped college last year and went to the G League.
Okay, he was in the G League.
Yeah.
All right.
I think his last name was Green, I believe.
Okay. Because I'm not in on the draft. I noticed everybody was 19 years old. I'm not really, tuned in on a lot of these draft prospects.
Yeah.
Plus the college season was shortened. So I really didn't get to see a lot of I don't know. I didn't really believe in the tournament this year.
No, I think the tournament was fraud.
Yeah. I didn't. The tournament is usually when I lock in and I find out who's going to be a high-end NBA player and who's not. I'm usually 75-80% right on those guys, and every now and then, a Doug McDermott just lets me down. Every year there's a couple Doug McDermotts. There's an Adam Morrison that just disappoints me. There's a couple guys that never reach their ceiling and become NBA junk.
Mm-hmm.
Justice Winslow.
Yeah.
Man, I was so disappointed in him. I was singing his praises. I told people, man, this guy is a man child.
Jalen Green is his name.
Jalen Green. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So is he the guy you think that if Detroit went there? Now, what do you see about Jalen Green that allows you to say, like, hey, you could possibly be the number 1 pick? I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah. Super athletic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nice little well-rounded game.
Okay.
He could score. You know what I mean? He I'm not going to say he's a lockdown defender, but he plays a little defense. He'll get in your way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? he would probably be the only person that I would pick number one over Cade if I was Detroit, if I traded or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if Evan Mobley, 7-footer, you know what I mean, from USC. He's pretty solid.
Okay.
I mean? Got a nice little touch from the three. You know what I mean? Well, that's not so bad because all big men now going forward is got to shoot the three.
Yeah, they're all coming in ready to shoot the three.
After that, you know what I mean, it's gonna be, you know what I mean, like who's who. You know what I mean? But they're like it's only about a couple names at the top that you need to look out for.
Okay, I'm looking at the NBA draft order now. And there was one team I was talking about. Let's see. I think Houston, this is their draft. They need to do something. Because, look, I don't think you're going to get anything out of John Wall. I think that's just going to be a contract that's there. He's going to be a guy that's there. But they really need to hit on this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have Christian Wood. Re-sign him. And if you got to take that big man, Evan Mobley, then get you some Twin Towers. You're going to have to build out one end of that lineup one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland's another team where I think they're just so destitute of talent. I don't know what they can do in this draft. I don't know if that's what they really need. I think they need to break it down even more. And that means letting Kevin Love go, getting him out of there, getting that contract off the books. I don't think they finished tanking.
They need to get Kevin Love out of there.
Yeah.
And if I'm Kevin Love, I need to get out of
there. Yeah. It's a mutual thing. I think that's a team that does. I'm looking at Toronto. They had a bad season, but they still have that team in place that, post Kawhi, so I think their goal is probably to lure a star player. They need to go star hunting. And if they could get Ben Simmons, that sets them on the right course. I think they were at the top for about 3-4 years, and this is the way down. They need to get a star in place to accelerate their rebuilding process or break it all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they need to do. You're going to have to be bad. We already know Oklahoma City. They're just stockpiling draft picks. They're just money ball. So Orlando too, you're at the very bottom. It's going to be a bad season. The Philadelphia Eagles of basketball. Get ready. Let's see. We know Golden State's probably not keeping that pick. They're trying everything to bring in somebody, so they should go star hunting. Number 9 is Sacramento. I think they need to break that team up too. I don't think any of these kids you're going to draft are going to add to that team. You're still going to be in the same spot because your pieces don't fit in order to win.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll get value back for Harrison Barnes. You'll get value back for Marvin Bagley. You'll get value back for Buddy Hield.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really believe in De'Aaron Fox, get him a big man or start building around him. Get him some help, some athleticism, some size around him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that'll work for Sacramento. Looking at New Orleans, I just think they need to retain their talent.
Yeah.
And they could probably trade that pick. I'd like to see New Orleans go the route of bringing in more veterans because it's time for Zion, Ingram, and Lonzo to be your big three. You have them in place. You can go over the cap for these guys because you own the bird rights. Bring in some veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Start building that team out the long way.
That's why I think it was a Valanciunas going there as a big pickup because he's a big that could score.
He's a big that could score. And
Steven Adams not a scorer.
A very offensively capable. He can move the ball around. He sees the floor well. He understands his role from the post. Steven Adams, he's a big body and he's a banger.
Mm-hmm.
That's more for Memphis' style of ball.
Yeah.
Pelicans have a banger. His name is Zion Williamson, and he also needs that space to operate. Valanciunas can step out of there and give him his lane.
Yeah.
So I'm liking that pickup, but I would like to see the Pelicans fill out that bench a little bit more, and possibly I would love to see a Bobby Portis go there if he's available, or somebody like that. They could use a backup power forward that could come out there and get them some good buckets. Paul Millsap is a free agent, right? You don't need him to play major minutes, but the guy he can put the ball in the hole just for short stretches. It's the end of the line for him.
Yeah.
But I think what they need is consistent basketball going. They kind of had that idea with JJ Redick, but he was done up a little too far. He was already fried up.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And I think like JJ is not used to losing.
No, not at all.
So when they start losing, it was just like, buy me out. I need to get somewhere.
So what do you feel about the rumors of that DeMar DeRozan would like to go to LA? Yeah, I hear that he and Kyle Lowry would like to go.
Yeah, I've been hearing that rumor, but him and DeMar DeRozan going to the Lakers. I'm looking at it as they look at LeBron and it's like, since we can't beat him, we might as well join him.
But I don't think that makes them any better because that's another person who can't hit threes.
No, right.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good mid-range shooter.
Yeah.
But that's not what you need. It doesn't quite make sense.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And I mean, DeRozan could help the scoring load a little bit, but you also got to play defense too. So you're planning on getting smaller. That's what I'm wondering.
I don't see it working out. I think what do the Lakers? They need to get rid of Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah,
that's what they need to do, and they need. It's hard to say they need a point guard because LeBron's the point.
He is,
and it's like, and I keep hearing everybody saying, "Oh, Westbrook or CP3."
Another non-shooter.
What they need to realize is like, if you're a point guard and you're on a team with LeBron, you're no longer the point guard.
Yeah.
You have to go do something that you're uncomfortable in doing.
Yes.
You have to go be a spot-up shooter.
You have to change your game.
You have to.
Yeah. I think Schrader showed you. That's what's going to happen in Westbrook. It's just going to be highly inefficient basketball because you're asking, Westbrook can score, but it's going to be painstaking to try to get him to those numbers that really matter. To get Westbrook to 20 points a game, you're going to have to put up with a lot of bad basketball.
And I don't think it's going to work in LA because when he was in Houston, when it didn't work, he came out and said publicly, I need to have the basketball. I need to be the one initiating the offense. So that's why when he went to Washington, it was cool because Bradley Beal is not a ball handler.
Yeah, and their offense was helter-skelter anyway. It's anybody who's open, find a shot, right. Shoot it. Yeah,
with the Lakers, you have to be comfortable with not having the ball in your hand. And we've seen that in Houston. Westbrook was not comfortable with the ball not in his hands.
No, he doesn't know what to do, and his athleticism has escaped him. So where that used to bail him out of bad decisions and bad placement and bad floor spacing, he doesn't have that anymore.
And it's not like LeBron could say, "Yo, Westbrook, go spot up in the corner. I'm gonna try to kick it to you."
No, Westbrook is literally shooting off the backboard from 20 feet out, trying to figure out how he can get the ball in the basket because shooting at the rim like a normal person doesn't work. He has no arc on his shot.
Right.
It's the wildest thing. That Sixers series, I was like, man, this guy is NBA junk. He made it. You made it to the NBA junk wall. Your days of being in a difference maker are over.
So, question: how can you get off of how can people get off of your NBA junk wall?
NBA junk wall. First of all, you got to get off that contract. Then you got to go somewhere and be a good supporting role player, for a smaller amount of money so they can add the things around you that they'll need to win. So if Westbrook, at the end of his contract, for what he does, I'll pay you $12 million a year. But he makes $45 million a year. I can't have you shooting 28% from three-point line and missing and shooting 32% from the field for $45 million a year.
But then people are going to say, oh, but he got a triple-double.
Oh, listen. Russell Westbrook ruined the triple-double for me. And there's other guys get triple-doubles and they're legit. But Russell Westbrook really, really ruined the triple-double. Because I'll say this. People talk about Ben's triple-doubles, and there's an argument. And Ben Simmons, this is what's so hard about it. Because his triple-doubles equal to victories for us. Because we were still the number one team in the East. Russell Westbrook had 55 triple doubles. I don't know what he had. And the Wizards really weren't a playoff team. They just got into the tournament. They got smoked by 34 points in the first playing game, and then they happened to win the second one. So they didn't even deserve to be in the playoffs. So Russell Westbrook's triple doubles don't even make you a competitive team. You're still a trash NBA team in an NBA franchise that's held together with Bradley Beal and popsicle sticks.
You're brutal.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
It's Hachimura.
In Hachimura. I like Hachimura. And I like the guy Thomas Bryant that went down. To me, Thomas Bryant and Ayton, probably the same player, but I think Thomas Bryant's a little more physical.
Yeah.
He's active. Yeah. So I'm wondering if Thomas Bryant's going to be a better big man than
because that right there comes down to your draft status.
Yeah,
Ayton's like, I went number 1, like, so I could just lollygag through, and Thomas Bryant is a later pick, so he's hungry. So he's like, I have to prove that I belong here.
Yep.
Ayton's like, all right, I went number 1 for a reason, and I don't really have to work hard because being a number 1 pick, I'm always going to have a job. People is always going to still see some upside with me.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm not Anthony Bennett. I didn't just flame out of the league.
Yeah.
I got to be in a winning situation and contribute. You know, it's wild, man. It's like Andrew Wiggins to me is NBA junk because he's eventually, I don't know if he's going to get another big contract. It's weird, but I think somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to max him out. He's not going to get a super max
because he is a former number 1 pick.
Oh man, that's NBA junk to me.
When I was watching that playing game when they were playing the Lakers and when they were playing the Grizzlies, I was screaming at my TV like, "Stop shooting jump shots!"
I wanted to poke him with a stick and say, "Do something, please do something." I know the Warriors should just run up like 5 seconds or less, but do something else. Play some defense. You're so physically gifted. You could put your body in front of anybody. You could block jump shots with those long arms, and you just don't do it. He's NBA junk. Like it's just I don't know.
I have to agree with you with that one.
Carmelo was NBA junk until he decided to embrace his new role with the Blazers, and now he's right where he should be at that point in his career. But see, his was due to age too, so I wasn't as harsh. I just felt like people need to realize he's not going to be 2008 Carmelo. It's 20 at the time. It was 2018. He's got to relax. You know, it's just, you know, that was it. But when he accepted that role with the Blazers, I think Carmelo has another 2, possibly 3 years in him. If Jamal Crawford can hang around without playing defense and just being a solid offensive player and doing his job, Carmelo can do it.
Yeah, at this point, Jamal Crawford is a higher gun.
A higher gun, yes. And Carmelo can be. I would have taken Carmelo on the Sixers. I wanted him 3 years ago. Everybody called me crazy. They said, but Chris, you don't think he's a starter. Precisely. We need shooting off the bench. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. No. If he could be 6th man of the year, Carmelo Anthony could be 6th man of the year every year because he doesn't have to do it for long stretches, and we're not relying on him to carry the team.
He just
go out there and kill. You know what I mean? So just getting off the NBA junk list, I think what I'm going to do is come up with the NBA junk list. I'm going to go through every single roster, and I'm going to identify who's NBA junk, and I'm going to explain why. You know, and that's what I'm going to do, Dave. And we're going to see who gets off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to see who gets off of it.
I need to see who gets off of your junk list.
Yo, speaking of sports, NFL training camps are underway all around the league. COVID's not really a big problem yet. A couple people catching it, a couple people not, a couple coaches. But let's talk about Aaron Rodgers, man. I told you, man. Listen, man. Money talks. You know what walks. Aaron Rodgers, them fines matter, man. $50K a day matters, even to the wealthy, the rich, the powerful. Almighty Aaron Rodgers.
It wasn't the fines that got him in.
I think it was the fines.
No,
all right,
it wasn't the fines that got him in.
What do you think got Aaron Rodgers in the building?
He asked for them to remove the last 2 years of the contract, and they did.
Okay.
So this year it's pretty much like a basketball deal now.
So he basically opted out of the latter part of his contract, and he wants to be able to go wherever he wants to go if he doesn't like it.
Yes. So how it is now is they removed the last 2 years. So now he has to play this year, and then he could become a free, like they could trade him after this year, but he'll still have 1 year left on his Green Bay deal after this year.
Okay, I got you.
So he just wanted them last 2. He didn't want to be in there for 4 years.
He wants the flexibility to go where he wants to go.
Yes.
But once again, Aaron Rodgers, you're old. By the time, if this season bombs out, you're going to be 38 years old, and it's going to bomb out on your watch. Not on Jordan Love's watch, not on anyone else's watch, your watch. Because the Packers organization is always going to be here. Your opportunity to play for them when they have a good roster and they're ready to compete at the top is not. So he's on the wrong side of this. I think the leverage people think he has is because he's still good, but they don't understand going to that second team late in your career. Tom Brady is one of the only quarterbacks to actually complete that second act with that other franchise after being in one place your whole career. Joe Montana almost did it. He got the Chiefs to the AFC Championship and then got his career ended against Buffalo. Tom Brady won with the Buccaneers, so he's the only one. Brett Favre went to the NFC Championship, basically got his career ended against the New Orleans Saints. Bountygate. Yes. Yes.
You had to throw in the Buffalo thing.
Yeah, because Bruce Smith ended his career, gave him a severe concussion, and it was a wrap. But the Chiefs were good. That was a tough game. That was a defensive matchup, and it was right on the turf in Buffalo. I hated seeing Montana go down because he was the GOAT to me. And but I love seeing the Bills go back to that fourth Super Bowl, even though we lost. You know what I mean? It was a momentous occasion. It was like number 4, fourth time's a charm. It was not a charm. It was not a charm at all. But that's what I'm saying. I was just looking around at all the teams that are going to be contenders for the next 2 or 3 years. They have quarterbacks in place. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers, what are you going to go to Pittsburgh? Their defense ain't what it used to be. They got other issues. Are you going to is Cleveland going to part from Baker Mayfield? Are they going to sacrifice their future to bring you in for a year or two? No. You're not going to Cincinnati. We can go around the league. We know who you're not going to. You're not going to mess with the Jets. You're not going to Miami because they don't have a team around. Patriots just drafted their future. Let's see. Washington, maybe if this season doesn't work out, but
Giants, if the season don't work.
But you're going to it, yeah. But one thing you're going to in Washington, now you're playing a different level of competition in that division. You got the Cowboys and the Giants ready to compete. Mm-hmm. The Eagles might get out of the cellar just a little bit. They might get to the bottom stairs of the basement stairs, the bottom stair step to compete. I think it's a tougher environment. Mm-hmm. You're not good. Nobody has a dome. You're on the East Coast. The weather sucks just like it does in Green Bay, but for every single game. Every game. This is what I'm saying. You're 38 years old. Depreciation matters. Mm-hmm. This is where is he going to go? Whose job is he going to take that's going to allow him to win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, and it's like every team that needed a quarterback drafted one.
They drafted one. Exactly. So, I mean, there's always a chance that some team will say, well, forget about this dude. Come here. I mean, you're going to go to the Raiders, right? But you're going to have to play against Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. I keep hearing Broncos.
Justin Herbert with the Chargers.
Yeah, Justin Herbert, the emergence of Justin Herbert. But going to the Broncos, okay, so if the Packers have to trade you, they're going to have to give up players that are helping them be whatever they are now, which is not good. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to a situation that really makes sense. Stay put in Green Bay. The team was 13-3, like I've been saying. And all of this was a pissing contest, and there's a lot of pride involved. Mm-hmm. I think there's pride here. He's like, I want to be treated like Brady. Brady has how many rings, Dave? 7 rings. Aaron Rodgers. Let me remind the people about Aaron Rodgers. And people going to say, oh, Chris, this is hate. Aaron Rodgers has been to 4 NFC championships and won 1 Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. How come we don't criticize him the way people were ready to, hang Peyton Manning from the rafters for not winning before the Broncos years? Remember, he was getting a lot of flack about his legacy. Hey, Peyton Manning's really not a winner. The only team he beat was a bad Bears team that made it to the Super Bowl. We don't criticize Aaron Rodgers for not getting over the hump.
You're right.
Everybody else says, oh, but he's the baddest man. The baddest man just won the 7th ring right there. The other baddest man just went to 2 Super Bowls in a row and won one in his first 4 years in the NFL. And there's other bad men who went just as far as you last year. I don't think you're the player that people say you are. You're still one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL, but I think your team has a lot more to do with it than your individual talent because you're not as mobile as you used to be. And you still got an arm, but it ain't the arm you had in 2012, 2013. That's my thing with the Aaron Rodgers. You're old. Everyone gets old. Get over it.
What do you think his numbers are going to be this year?
Who knows? Like I said, though, I think they should be right back in the playoffs. Now, the NFC West is coming. The NFC East is coming. I think the NFC South is, I don't know who's going to do anything, except for the Bucs. The Bucs are going to beat it. The Bucs are taking that division, right?
Yeah.
And in their division, the only team I think First of all, Detroit is a wasteland.
Yeah.
Jared Goff is. This is when he becomes NFL junk.
They're going to be biting ankles in Detroit.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of personal foul, frustration, penalties going to be going down in Detroit. A lot of false starts and holdings. It's going to be bad football up there. And the kid that the Bears drafted, Justin Fields, just isn't ready. So you're right back there. The only team that might give you a run if they can hold it together and Kirk Cousins can, if they can put it all together, is Minnesota.
If Kirk Cousins cannot be Kirk Cousins.
Exactly. And if they can get a healthy Dalvin Cook for the entire year, and if Justin Jefferson continues to elevate, if he takes a quantum leap, you might have some problems, but you're going to the playoffs this year. The only reason why you didn't get your Super Bowl last year is because you didn't run the ball in the end zone, because you didn't. And this is it. When you're 37 years old, you're less likely to want that collision on the goal line than you are when you're 27. You're not diving to that pylon. All he had to do was dive to the pylon, man. He could even did the old man spin move, took the hit in the back and just lay into the spin and then fall in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
John Elway did it in the Super Bowl. We saw what he did. He was an old man. He said, I ain't going out like this. I'm 38. He got helicoptered on a goal line. Aaron, you could have been in the Super Bowl you could have been in the Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes had you not thrown that. But everybody wants to focus on the field goal. Tom Brady threw 3 picks in the first half of that game, and you didn't convert.
Mm-hmm.
This is why people, I don't know why Aaron Rodgers gets a pass, man, for failing at the biggest moments where no one else gets a pass.
Nobody gets a pass.
Nobody.
Because you're right. They pretty much hung Peyton Manning.
Yes.
And they just kept saying, oh, he's just the greatest regular season quarterback.
When it comes to winning big games, he's not even Eli. This is what I'm saying. Like, let's not act like Aaron Rodgers hasn't been in this sorry division for the last 13, 14 years as a starter and not really taking full advantage of it. People are like, oh, well, at this time, that. He also was injury prone, the broken collarbones. Had 2 of those, missed 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
What if it happens now? They got to move on. But he got his butt to camp where he needs to be. Get to camp and get these guys ready to play. You want a receiver? Help this guy get better, huh? We know Devontae Adams can play. Develop a rapport with the number 2 and the number 3 read or the number 4 read. Help your tight ends get better. Find out what you can do, because every year you come into camp, you can do less and less.
Mm-hmm.
You're older and older.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Well, he's in camp.
That's my Aaron Rodgers rant.
They removed the 2 years off.
Listen, man, and that's doing them a favor.
Yeah.
Because, okay, Aaron, you want to walk that money? We'll finally go get Jordan Love. We'll finally be able to afford Jordan Love, the top receiver that you've been clamoring for to go on the other side of Adams.
But now here's the thing. If they don't re-sign Adams, he only has 1 year on his deal.
Okay, if they don't re-sign Aaron Rodgers.
So if Aaron Rodgers leave, 9 times out of 10, Adams leaving with him.
Okay. Thank you for your services. Now we're going to move on.
And then Green Bay will be junk.
But it depends on what Jordan Love is. You know what I mean? What he becomes. But also, that's an opportunity to get better, because now you can focus on your team without having this old guy holding you hostage the way Roethlisberger held the Steelers hostage.
And still is.
He's still holding them hostage, sticking them up with no mask.
But like with Jordan Love, like the only way that he can get better and develop is playing.
And to me, if I'm a GM, I had one job to do, which was fill out this roster and get this to be a competitive team again. Get Aaron Rodgers help on both sides of the ball. I did that. I did my job as a GM, and you want me fired. I'm sorry. My obligation is not to Aaron Rodgers' feelings and to mortgage our future on Aaron Rodgers. It's to put the best team and put this franchise in the best position to compete long term. That was it.
So if you're the GM and you drafted Jordan Love, and you traded up to get him.
Yeah.
So now you know at some point, like, this is my quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, y'all just reworked Aaron Rodgers' deal and took the last 2 years off, so he reported to camp. What if Aaron Rodgers goes out there and has another MVP season?
Thank you, but you're going to be 39. How many more MVP seasons you got left in you, buddy?
So are you going to trade him or let him play out that last season for the year after?
Well, he's
it continue to stunt your your new quarterback's growth by not allowing him to be on the field.
But it's the same situation with Brett Favre. It didn't stunt Rodgers' growth that Brett Favre stayed those extra few years, right? Because Brett Favre stayed those extra few years. He even threw away an NFC Championship to the Giants.
No, he ain't throw nothing away.
He threw that away. He threw that. That was a terrible pass. But he always throws terrible passes.
He got hit on the throw.
Listen, it's a terrible throw. Brett Favre doesn't know how to take a sack.
Straight hand hit him. He threw it. Corey Webster intercepted it.
Listen, it was Brett Favre.
What the hell are you talking about?
Brett Favre threw that game away. He threw it away. They were driving on y'all, and he threw it away. Pick six in overtime.
It wasn't a pick six.
Yeah, it was a pick six. No, he ran it out of bounds, right?
No, as soon as he picked it, he got tackled.
He got tackled. Okay, all right. Well, I just know that was the end of the game. The pick.
And then Lawrence Tynes, kicked the joint.
Lawrence Tynes. All right. Anyway, it didn't stunt Rodgers' growth for Brett Favre to hang around and hold the team hostage a couple years. And then when Aaron Rodgers stepped in, good draft picks. They built that offense. And Aaron Rodgers stepped into Donald Driver. He stepped into Greg Jennings. He still had Jermichael Finley. He had Jordy Nelson. This is what I'm saying. It's your turn, buddy. The time waits for no man. It's your turn.
Listen, all right,
it's your turn.
When Rodgers is finally out, because it's not going wood. The Pick and Roll podcast is still going to be alive and well.
I'm hoping.
Fingers crossed. So when that time comes, when Aaron Rodgers is not in Green Bay and Jordan Love is the quarterback, we will revisit this.
I think people are really going to see us turn up during football season. The NFL got so much to talk. I can't wait till preseason is underway. But August 5th is
Cowboys and Steelers.
Cowboys and Steelers. Yep. Three games this year, right? Preseason.
Yeah, three
preseason games and 17 regular season games. NFL's coming for it, man. Deshaun Watson's reported to camp too.
Yeah, now that is a situation where that fine was
they was about to he was looking at that checkbook like, look,
kicking in.
Yeah, I don't like y'all, but the fact remains, I want to be traded. But let me get out here and put these cleats on.
Those fines are gonna start kicking in.
It's got to be such an awkward situation, like what am I really working on when y'all know I don't want to be here?
Right.
Like, how incentivized am I to really run these plays well? You know what I mean?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Exactly. Like, we know they're hoping that they're probably preparing Tyrod Taylor mentally.
Yeah. Tyrod's gonna be starter
to go in there and be a paid loser, be a bridge quarterback.
Yeah.
But it's that's a situation where they definitely waited too long to trade Deshaun Watson. And now most teams have their quarterbacks in place.
Yeah, they should have traded him when the value was high, before when it was only like maybe when he first came out and said that he wanted to be traded.
Yeah,
you should have traded him because you could have got whatever you wanted.
You could have got anything from anybody because he would have superseded any draft quarterbacks that were out there, and those picks would have mattered more.
Right. So you could have been someone like San Francisco that drafted a quarterback. San Francisco could have said you can have this one.
Imagine him on the Rams,
right,
before the Stafford trade,
right.
You know what I mean? Imagine that.
But I don't think.
Imagine him on the Niners.
I had Niners for Deshaun Watson.
Imagine him on the Giants.
There was no way that no quarterback other than Matthew Stafford was going to the Rams.
Oh, you think so? You did that was locked in?
Yeah, it was. I think there's like a backstory with that, to where Stafford is married to someone on the Rams is sister
personnel. Okay, I got you.
So they were at a golfing event or something like that, and McVay was there, and then it was just like, yo, it'd be crazy if yada yada yada, and then it happened.
Well, but imagine. I don't think he would have got traded to the Colts, but I don't know. Imagine the Patriots have an opportunity to go get Watson because their draft picks were valuable. They weren't good last year. They had valuable picks. You really screwed yourself by holding on to Watson far too long.
Yeah, we could have said, look, here's a first rounder in Daniel Jones.
Here's 2 first rounders in Daniel Jones.
Right.
Yeah, we'll make it work. 2, 3 first rounders, Daniel Jones. You're in the biggest market ever. You ain't got no criminal charges, just a bunch of civil cases. You know that doesn't look like he's going to be suspended.
Nah, he's going to get suspended.
You think so?
Yeah, because Even Big Ben got like 6 games, and he wasn't ever charged with anything.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. But
so he's gonna get suspended for something.
Yeah, conduct detrimental or something like that.
Yeah, like people gotta realize, like, whatever you do in the NFL, even if
you don't get charges,
if the charges get dropped, but if the police were called, you're gonna get suspended.
Yeah, and knowing that, I just don't think it's going to be a lengthy suspension at this point because the case is so dirty and there's too many eyes on it.
Yeah.
They can't just will punishment. Oh, wow. Like, oh, make an example out of you 10 games. They won't be able to get away with that. The Players Association is not going to go for that. It's going to be arbitration, all that stuff. So I could see like a 2-3 game suspension for Watson.
At least 4.
You think at least 4?
At least 4. Like, look at the Tom Brady situation. They had to give him something.
Well,
so I just think
that was different, man.
but I think if you could suspend Tom Brady for 4 games, someone's gonna get at least 4.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, with Brady though, it was the deflating of the balls and the whole operation to cover it up too. Like they were paying people off, the ball guy and all that stuff, and they had other people taking the fall with the NFL. My dudes got fired for that.
Yeah, my thing with that Deflategate thing was the game was close. The Colts had the game closer when the balls was flat.
They did. They called an interception to find out. I'm one of those people that don't think it mattered a whole lot, but they just broke a rule and then tried to cover it up. If they didn't try to cover it up, I think it wouldn't look as bad.
In the second half, where they played with regular footballs, it was 28-0.
Listen, when the dude catches the deflated ball, I forget who it was. He catches
the linebacker.
The linebacker. He catches it, celebrates, but it's like, yo, look at this ball. It's mad flat. And I'm thinking like, I thought it was wet and it was cold out there. I didn't understand how a deflated ball. Yeah, but I understand how a deflated ball can help, but not in those conditions. I didn't think it was that much of a difference, if anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Maybe if Brady's hand was hurt or something, might have made it easier to just put it on target. I'm not sure, but they found out because they caught a pick.
Mm-hmm.
Brady was under pressure and he misread,
and I believe like New England probably was up by like maybe 7 or 3 at the half. Like y'all were playing better, and then when y'all brought attention to it, Brady said, "All right, here, hold this."
Exactly,
28-0.
Exactly. I saw he was holding up the ball like, yo, it was crazy.
Should have just kept your mouth shut.
I'm telling you, man. But it's gonna be interesting storylines in the NFL, man. Cole Beasley is going down, but I want to know your thoughts on this because I don't know if you see on our social medias people are arguing about the vaccine. Cole Beasley has taken to Twitter. And he's not taking a shot. He's saying that NFL's players' freedoms are being restricted. DeAndre Hopkins is taking the same stance along with a couple other players. What are your thoughts on that? Do you because of the NFL's rules now, if an unvaccinated player tests positive, it's an automatic 2-game forfeiture and you don't get paid. And the union agreed to this. Mm-hmm. NFL Players Association agreed to this.
The players gotta, instead of taking it up with the NFL, they gotta take it up with their union rep because the NFL Players Association they agree to it.
And that's always the problem with the NFL when they have these questions of players' rights and stuff. It's always because the union gets beat every single time.
Yeah,
they keep getting smoked.
Take that up with your union rep.
Yeah,
like you can't have a riff with the NFL with the Shield when your union rep is agreeing to their terms. So you can't go in front of a camera or on Twitter and badmouth Goodell or whoever. You have to go up there and badmouth your union rep.
Exactly. The guys you voted for.
Right.
And so Cole Beasley's been going back and forth to be a Buffalo guy, a Buffalo player, and get into it with Howard Eskin, who's in Philly, was crazy. And he's even arguing with other Bills players because Stephon Diggs came out and said, look, accountability and availability, that's the 2 most important things. We're on a chance to compete for a Super Bowl. And here you are possibly eliminating yourself from the season and creating a problem by making this a public spectacle. Mm-hmm. You're on Twitter going at with everybody talking about rights. And then you have some players talking about sitting out. And one of the best things I heard is a lot of y'all didn't want to boycott when Kaepernick was kneeling, but now y'all boycotting the vaccine that could save your life,
right?
And save the lives of others. Like, what do y'all really stand for at the end of the day? When you want to talk about freedom, Kaepernick didn't have the freedom to express his opinion about what's going on in America. Mm-hmm. A lot of y'all ran and hid for cover. Now it's about the vaccine. I mean, first of all, do you think it's, if I'm gonna tell you, put yourself in the player's shoes, right? Are you taking the vaccine to help your team? Because you also don't got to sit out as long if you have the vaccine, because you're gonna beat the virus faster, being a healthy person.
I mean, it all depends on, like, you have to look at what's going on in your family's situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're one of these guys that's single, you know what I mean, no kids, just a girlfriend, you know what I mean, and you don't really have anyone to, then I know some people probably like, nah, I'm not gonna take the vaccine.
Right. Yeah. The girlfriend's tough. She'll get through it.
Yeah. But then if
she's a trooper.
If you're married, you got kids or whatever, it's like, I should take this vaccine because I don't want to be out there on Sunday playing against a bunch of guys, and then I got to come home to my kids.
Yeah.
And then possibly expose them.
Or if you're around older folks or people that are already sick and got health problems. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's just different. Like me personally, I took it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got both shots. You know what I mean? I'm straight.
That's why I say everybody has a choice. That's how I feel. But understand there's consequences to your choices. So in my career, I had to take it because they said, look, you're going to have to come back in office. So you got to take the vaccine or take your ass down to unemployment and get a check.
Right.
And that's it. You either want to play football or you don't. You know, they didn't even make it mandatory, but they're saying it's going to cost you checks and you're going to cost your team.
Yeah. And then, especially with NFL contracts not being guaranteed, them checks matter.
Listen, and a team will cut you.
Yes.
They'll cut you quick and you will be blacklisted because you're going to be looked at as not being a team player. And that's the nature of the beast. One of the best things I heard is the gig is the gig. It is what it is. The job is the job. Then it's the nature of the job is the nature of the job. So you may not like the politics, but it is what it is. When you have enough money to start your own league and make your own rules, then you can give everybody freedom of choice over every single little thing. Right now, you work for somebody and they pay you. So you got to do what you got to do. You got to show up, man. You got to show up and be accountable. And in football, availability is the best ability.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, definitely. But this was another great episode, man.
Yeah, man.
TBT. Who is this?
Pretty much Buffalo playing Miami.
Oh, okay. What was their team name? The blue team. Blue collar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're University of Buffalo players?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Much. And then the other one was Category 5.
Yeah, we're looking at TBT now. They just blue collar just beat Category 5 and they move on to what, the final 8? Yeah, we're coming down to the final 8. Yeah, nice, man. Nice. This is good though. It gives a lot of other guys a chance to showcase, you know, some of their talents. It shows you how many solid ball players out there, man. Gives them something to do after college, man. Something to do with all that talent, that skill. You know, but this is a good show. Make sure y'all follow us, Indio Group on Facebook, Indio Media Group on YouTube. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. To the people that tuned in today, shout out to Jay Dash again for jumping on. Yeah, man. Episode 19, man. 19 episodes we did.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back for 20. All right. So y'all have a good night. Catch y'all next episode. Oh.